Live life with no regrets. Just life lessons. It was a tattoo that I got when I was 18. At the time, it felt ridiculous. It wasn't very me. At 18, I didn't know who I was. I didn't know anything about myself. I was angsty. I was angry. I was so lost. I was dealing with a ton of trauma. Hi, Bubba. I didn't know that I would one day be soft, that one day I would live life with no regrets. I didn't know that that tattoo was not a mistake. It wasn't idiotic like I thought it was. It wasn't ridiculous. It was so true, because if I lived my life with regrets, every choice that I've made in my life wouldn't have taught me something. I wouldn't have taken value from it. I wouldn't have become who I am today. So no, I don't live life with regrets. I live life with lessons. I finally live life with accountability. And I live life freely now, calmly, kindly, learning all of the life lessons that my own mother could have never taught me. Children, follow by example. And I didn't have an example growing up. Sure, I had people who tried and justified my mother's lack of parenting, but some things are not excusable. One of them, trying to buy your child off while not putting in the work yourself. One of them. And my mother, well, she got me that tattoo. She had a lot to work on. I don't blame her. I really don't. I just wish she had tried. I wish she had wanted to inspire me. I wish she had been more of a lead. I wish she hadn't tried to me. I wish she was putting in the work so that I didn't have to wait until I was nearly dying to put in the work myself. I wish maybe that she had followed my grandfather's example. My grandfather is about the only male lead in my life that has been a good influence. Yes, he had things he could have worked on. We all do. That's kind of the point of this journey, is it not? Nobody's perfect. For me, I think the one thing that my grandfather really could have worked on would have been a little bit more openness. Maybe why I'm so open myself. He was very stoic. He was very private. He was really good with money. He was a good lead in the way that he never, ever complained. And he had a lot of reasons to complain. His partner, his loving wife of, I think she'd correct me here, but maybe 53 years. Don't quote me, Grandma. I don't know. But she was like a polar opposite of him. She was, well, you're not supposed to label it, so I'll leave it open to interpretation. I loved them both in very different ways. Yes, my grandmother would get more on my nerves, but my grandmother was things that my mother was never. She was tender. She was open with her feelings, so open that she was really soft. And when I was raised by my mother, no, I don't have regrets. I just wish, I wish there was things I had done differently. I wish that I knew you're not supposed to be a giant a-hole. I wish I knew that there's a way better way to live. To just be kind, to be tender, to put your own needs first. And when you do, it's funny, you actually become more selfless, more compassionate, more understanding of people you never thought you'd get along with. I'm very different from my family. My grandfather, well, he's super Catholic. I guess I would consider myself spiritual. I tend to navigate towards anything of monk related. I don't really consider myself to be of one religion. I like taking elements from all. I think I got that from my mother. She would flip-flop from religion to religion when we were younger. And it was a little bit unstable. I think she couldn't find purpose within. And so she'd go on these religious awakenings once every few years, and it kind of made my own relationship with religion a little faulty. Don't get me wrong, if you believe in religion for the right reasons, go ahead. I have no problem with that. I just think you either got to take them all, a little bit, and be flexible, or stick to one and just consume God, feel Him in the divine consciousness, feel Him in all the choices that you make, in all the messy situations, in learning from your mistakes. Then yeah, believe in God wholeheartedly. So I get it. I get why my mother bounced from religion to religion. She was struggling. Obviously, the Catholic approach wasn't working for her. But then again, she was always trying to be so different from our family. Not in a healthy way. They all had their faults. We all do, like I said. But she wasn't taking any of the good from them. She didn't take any of the lessons that they were teaching her. And so she got lost. I will say though, all the traveling that we did when I was younger, oh, what a way to live. It's also why I got a tattoo of Africa when I went to Uganda when I was 13 years old. And that was probably the coolest experience of my life because it was the first time in my entire existence that I had a sense of freedom. My mother got really sick for contacts, and I was able to go on safaris on my own, of course, with a little bit of supervision, but away from my mother, away from my mother's wrath. Because you see, with my mother and my very unstable upbringing, I would constantly be moved. So I'm going to be the most stable person for my non-bio kids. It was never in the cards for me to have biological kids myself. It was, I guess, in the past a little bit. Yes, I could always make that choice, but I've seen what the possession of blood does within my family, and I've never had a desire myself not being attached to my own face. I wouldn't want mini-me's running around. That was one of the things about growing up is, well, my mother was a little bit, let's say, self-racist. Is that a thing? She didn't like white people. She was so convinced that I had to marry somebody of a different ethnicity. It was really odd. She dated around a few. She had a bit of a diverse, promiscuous side, let's say. I think it was why I was not so in tune with that side of things until later years. Why I don't have a healthy relationship with sex. Why I didn't have a healthy relationship with sex. Why I had to wait until I was sick in the womb to be able to have a healthy relationship with sex. My mother didn't teach me a lot. She kind of taught me what not to do. So I guess if I really think about it, if I come back to the present, what is that? Present. Time is all around me. That's the other reason I don't want to have biological kids. I know myself now. I understand my psyche. Yeah, that's the thing. We live in a world where you can't talk about anything without upsetting someone. I think it's why I talk all the time. Because my voice was never heard when I was younger. I was always dismissed. I was constantly abused. It was always swept under the rug. Like, oh, that's just normal behavior. That's just how it is. It's okay to beat your children ruthlessly. It's okay to be unstable. It's okay to move from house to house on average once a year, to uproot your children with jealous and malicious intent every time they make friends. My mother constantly reminded me that I was a mistake, that I was supposed to be an abortion, let's say, that she found out a little too late with the doctor, and that I'm not supposed to exist. Maybe it's the same reason that I'm so adamant on having kids and doing it a healthy, right way. Maybe I just know that kids are always the limit, at least for the biological aspect. Children don't know better. And if they don't have guidance, they become out of control, like I was. Like sometimes I can appear erratic at times. I can appear very childlike, curious. Sometimes I just look a little bit silly. But that's kind of how it is, you know? You're who you are. And sometimes I'm an old soul, sometimes I'm a child. I know when I'm gaming, people see a completely different side of me than when I'm on my own, and when I'm recording, and when I'm journaling, and when I'm in solitary. But things aren't always as they seem, you know? So I guess let's go back. Let's go back to my childhood. Let's go back and go through the non-linear. It's kind of how I live. I don't know how time is for you. I imagine quite a bit more linear than myself, but I do have complex PTSD. I'll openly admit to that one. And it means that from time to time, I'm sent to my youth. Sometimes I'm sent to yesteryear. Sometimes I'm sent maybe a few years back to past lovers, the ones I actually felt things for. I lost my train of thought. That happens from time to time. I usually have 3 or more thoughts going at any such time. Sometimes way more. Sometimes it's pretty still. Confusing from the outside. But in here, it makes perfect sense. In here, that's just kind of how time operates all around me. When I was younger, there was a lot of foster care. There was 15 to 18, all foster care, all abandoned. Because all of a sudden, I went from being a little bit of a problem child, and considering what I was going through, I really think I could have been a lot worse. I won't talk about the abuse too much. It would be very dark indeed. But I will talk about foster care. I took a lot of good things away from it. I learned what was wrong with our foster care systems. I also saw a little bit of good in it from time to time. Weirdly, not in any of the parents, and I had seen quite a few of them. But in the kids, there was hope in them. With all the shattered dreams and abuse and everything they'd been through, they were still going. They were still trying. And again, they weren't polished, pretty people. No one is. I think even if you had a normal childhood, unlike myself, there's no way to be pretty and polished. Not in this mad, angry, frustrated world where everyone's ego-driven and they don't just think about how they affect other people's feelings. I get it. I was there. I'm still there from time to time. But the thing about foster care is that that's how I knew. That's how I knew I wasn't going to have biological kids. I've known really forever, but that was like, I want to foster kids. I want to give them a temporary escape in this mad, mad world. I want to adopt kids. I want to help all these lost, abandoned children, and I want to do it right. Because if you don't know, you do not have to go through a lot of rigorous testing to become a foster parent, and most of them are doing it for the money. And it's hilarious because it's not even a lot of money. You really would have to cut back because they realistically, at least in my province, they give you less money than what you need to adequately raise a child. So riddle that one for me. I think it's why I slept in the same room as a lot of my foster sisters. You're not supposed to do that. So how much are they actually investigating these people? I remember Bannock. I remember exploring nature. I remember sunburns. I remember bald chicks. I remember puppets on ceilings. It was a really strange time in my life. Life isn't fair. And that's why it's beautiful. There's nothing about it that has any sense of equality. We're all equal, but it's completely random and chaotic, and it's just all over the place. And yet, it's so easy at the same time. It's humans that make it hard. Humans can't just agree. Humans are all... You know what? No, that's not correct. It's not humans that make it difficult. It's ego that makes it difficult. Because nobody knows how to just have an opinion and be like, oh, hey, you have a different opinion. Maybe that's not a bad thing. Maybe that's good for diversity. Maybe, okay, I don't vibe with you. Let's just call it a day, pack it in, or we can discuss it. Maybe you can change my mind. That's the thing about humans. It's ego. It's not even humans. It's ego. It's living in the past, living in the future. Who am I to talk? It's just moderation of ego, let's say. That would be the way to handle things. Do you know what it feels like to feel your soul for the first time? I got snippets of it when I was finally at the edge. Too sick to want to hold on. But being driven by ego, I pushed myself back up. I forced myself to stay alive. And then I started to feel something new I had never felt in my entire existence. Light, love, compassion, kindness, gentle softness that I didn't know I had in me. It was beautiful. It was strange because it's something I feel almost every day consistently now. But to feel it for the first time when I was at my breaking point, it was so surreal. It was like, who is this? Is this me? What is soul? Like, how do you explain soul to somebody who's never felt it before? You can't put it into words. You're not supposed to say can't, but there just aren't any words. It's so divine. It's so still. It's so lovely. It's so everything. And I think everybody has a soul. I think everybody has ever-changing purpose. I think that people just don't want to work on themselves because if they do, they have to face all the shit they've done. I know my own list would be, sorry isn't good enough. It'll never be good enough. And I didn't know, and I don't give myself any kind of excuses for that. Because I was always looking for a reason to break the cycle. I was trying so hard. I just wasn't there, and I couldn't find the right resources. I couldn't figure out how to feel something better, do something better, live healthier, live better. I had no idea what the heck I was doing. I don't judge my younger self. I don't even think I judged my mother. I think I just really question things. That's why I ask all the questions I can now. Be an inquisitive squirrel. Be a curious child. Question everything. What's the worst that could happen? Or what's the best? Maybe we start changing things. Maybe we think outside the box. Maybe we become more accepting of one another. Maybe we start to see ourselves in others. Maybe we have our solid, concrete opinions changed. My goodness, could you imagine? I know I'm nothing like I was when I was younger. I know, God, thank goodness you can change your personality. I'm always changing, that's the point of it. I was always changing when I was younger too. A little less at a rapid rate. It's kind of funny how that near death will bring out the rapid development in one. I wish people would look inward before they have to. Before they destroy other people's lives. Before they hurt their loved ones. Before they turn to abuse. Before they mess up their children's psyche. I just wish people would care. I wish people would have compassion for themselves, for others. I wish they would stop, pause, and maybe not think it through. If you know, you know. But to just breathe before impulsively sending that rude email telling your boss how much you really hate his project. You don't hate it. Nothing's worth hate in this world. Before you tell your, let's say, psychotic mother off, she doesn't know any better. You're talking to an ego. You're not talking to her. It's just going through so many different filtered levels. She's not going to hear it anyways. I think that's the thing. I think everybody doesn't necessarily have a guide on how to raise children. But I think having a regulated nervous system has been a huge game changer for myself. Psychotherapy, that's all I'll say. Could probably even help out a psycho, if they wanted to change, of course. Okay, maybe a sociopath, let's be honest. I don't think there's evil in this world. I don't think evil exists. I think there's corruption. I think there's messed up mental health illnesses. I think there's a lot of lost souls, a lot of blame, and a lot of very confused people, lost, because the world has gotten very complex. It's gotten diverse, but also very, let's say, imbalanced. I mean, think about it. When we were cavemen, it was just naked skin sacks. Maybe a little bit of different hair, maybe a little bit of different skin color. People were more focused on surviving. It was fruit, it was berries. Technology is what makes things confusing. Let's be honest, nobody has to be accountable with technology. And that is scary. Cyberbullying doesn't exist. Never happened. Yeah, you have all these big, huge companies that are creating all this technology, and then they're not held accountable whatsoever. They don't have any sense of customer service. There's no way to properly report things. I will say, there are some smaller companies that are very good with their accountability. They're very good with their customer service. And social media should be a place that people can use their voices and help people and reach out. It shouldn't be what it is, this rat race of competition and ads and gratification, instant gratification here, there, dopamine hit everywhere. It should be like real life with a little bit of differentiation. You know, it should be, I guess it's an algorithm game, one I don't understand quite yet. Looking into nature, looking into people's lives a little bit, their backstories, their history. Because no good person has ever come from a place of, well, unless they had that stable upbringing, but no good person's ever come from a very grounded, good story. I know I didn't. I know there's no point in going through all the, let's say, mistakes that I've made. I'd be here all day. I'd be here all year. I've done enough of writing in the negative. But I think social media should be a place where we can just get a better essence of who people really are, who they are in their souls, who they are at their core. I think everybody's good at their core. I think nobody is hopeless. I think you just have to want to embrace change and be so fearless of the unknown. Maybe even be a little excited for it. Because isn't that the really cool thing about the unknown? You're not sure what's coming next. And yeah, maybe you can understand the predictability, read psychology, let's be real, understand quantum physics just a little bit, just enough. Honestly, that's the one thing that they say within quantum physics is if everybody had a basic understanding of quantum physics, we would just be so chill. we would all get along, and it's not wrong. It's really not wrong, because if you start kind of consuming that, well, maybe consume that and let me know what you think. It's just such a wondrous universe, and here we are all just ego-driven, angry, like, everything in moderation, man, everything in moderation. It's, what do you want to be angry about, right, Bubba? What do you want to be angry about? Anyways, this is the tangent. Maybe I'll get some good content out of this. Maybe let me know what your villain story is, or pieces of it. Let's not trauma dump here. My bowels are still trying to heal. Choose love. Choose kindness. Choose curiosity. Choose that beginner's mindset. Oh my gosh, it makes a world of difference. Anyways, I love you. You are worthy. Let me know your story. Live life with... Hi, Nero. Do you want to come hang out? Okay. There we go. Hi. Do you want to lay down? Can you lay down for me? Please? Lay down, Bubba. Lay down, my love. Lay down, please. The tummy is not where I'd want it to be. It's all about cats, hey? It's all about the cat. Yeah? Okay, lay down, please.